Leaning forward as far as my restraints will allow, the beige-orange mass of Terranium surrounds us, the vivid neon lights and unusual buildings of Las Vegas growing closer and closer as we approach our destination. When we descend the loading ramp, the first thing that hits me is the heat. Not the balmy kind of warmth you'd find on a summer's day, but the scorch of fiery engines and hot metal. The late afternoon sun hangs low in the sky, and a metallic, oily scent lingers in the air. I wrinkle my nose at it, surveying my surroundings. We're on a landing strip in what looks to be some kind of junkyard. Scrap metal piles up on either side of us. Broken down robots, rusted, old hovercrafts, outdated droids. A graveyard of poor, unwanted things. It's a relief to step onto solid ground after the past few days in space, and I toe the dirt beneath my shoe, kicking up a small cloud of dust as I do so. Following behind the group, my eyes drift idly over the piles of junk surrounding us, until my gaze falls upon a serving bot, an older model by the looks of what I can see of it, laying half buried within a pile of rusted limbs, metal arms, legs, and torsos thrown haphazardly into a pyramid. I step towards it, its black eyes, one cracked right down the middle, staring into mine, and its mouth opening and closing slowly, like a dying goldfish. A shiver runs through me, and I find myself feeling oddly sorry for the machine, left lost and alone amongst the skeletons of its own kind. Someone grabs my arm and yanks me aside roughly, and I see immediately what they've saved me from impaling my foot on. A piece of metal scrap lays half buried in the sand, its jagged edge poking up ominously through the dust.
Be careful.
Calderon gives me a hard look, his face schooled into an expression of pure annoyance. I mutter a thanks to the captain. They'll wonder why I bothered when he merely turns and keeps walking. I don't know why exactly, but he seems even more on edge on the ground than he did on the ship. I get the impression he's not too fond of the planet. I can't stop myself from scowling at his back as we walk along, the clouds of dust growing thicker around us the further we get. June told me I should stay close to someone while we're here, and after hearing about the planet, I agree with him. I'd feel more comfortable if that someone was... I fall into step beside the pilot, who gives me a broad smile.
Oh yeah, stay close to me while we're here, Nico. I promise we'll have a great time.
I laugh at her enthusiasm, returning it with a grin of my own. I can't wait. We don't have to walk much further until we're greeted by a scaled, lizard-like being who smiles and spreads their arms wide to welcome us. I break away from the group a little to get a better look at our host.
Welcome, my friends. Oppo is so very, very happy to see you again.
Calderon steps forward first, a rumble of impatience hanging thickly on his words.
Skip the pleasantries, Oppo. We're here on business.
Oppo drops their arms, surveying Calderon with an almost fearful look. I don't blame them, really. The captain is an intimidating man.
Yes, of course.
Do you have the parts?
Right over here, Captain.
Calderon strolls over to the pile of metal Oppo indicated towards with Damon in tow, while Aya steps forward to give Oppo a much friendlier greeting.
How have things been around here, Ope?
She smiles up at the lizard, who towers above her and makes a non-committal kind of sound.
Bad. Very bad since the Camiri took over power. Oppo barely gets enough water to keep the club running now that they have control of the council. Every oasis on the planet is under their order.
Aya's eyebrows dip, her expression shifting to one of pure horror.
Zovak gave his clan control of the Council of Embers?
Yes, the old counselors executed. Many of the arena fighters have been taken from the planet, made to serve in the king's army. Oppo fears bad things are coming to all planets.
June frowns, and I can't help but notice Oppo shy away a little, having only just noticed he was there.
I fear you might be right, Oppo.
The Council of Embers? I ask Bash, who's standing beside me, and he whispers back his answer.
The Council of Embers are Terranium's government. Every planet has one. The Council of Eons on Talaran, the Council of Iron on Cursa, and the Council of Essence on Orion. There was also the Council of Pearl before Catalpha was destroyed. All of them answer to the Crown Council on Goldus, who in turn answers to and advises the Monarch.
The Monarch? Zovak? Bash makes a face, and I wonder if it was the wrong thing for me to say.
Most would argue against his claim. The monarchy has always been passed down through the royal Pegasi family, ever since its creation. Zovak fought his way to the throne and took it by force. He's a ruthless man, and his clan, the Chimeri, are just as bad.
While June and Aya carry on their conversation in hushed tones, I feel a hand on my back as Bash steers me towards Oppo, hailing them with a wave of his bionic hand.
Oppo, I want you to meet Nico!
The Archnose looks me over, their beady eyes blinking rapidly and their forked tongue darting out from behind pointed teeth.
Mr. Bash has bought Oppo a new slave, yes?
Oppo, no. This is our new friend. And they're not slaves, they're employees.
Yes, employees. That's what Oppo said.
Bash shakes his head at the lizard, then leans in a little closer to whisper to me.
I do not give Oppo slaves, just so we're clear.
An ungraceful snort escapes me. Crystal. I feel a nudge on my arm, and when I turn, Oppo is beside me, teeth bared in a pointed smile.
You will come and work for Oppo, yes? Better than slumming it with the Estrometer crew.
It's Andromeda, Oppo. How many times have we been over this?
Oppo blinks at Bash once, and then twice, ignoring him completely as they turn back to me.
A spot just opened up in Oppo's new club. Very popular tourist destination. Oppo will give you a good price, no need to worry.
Back off, Oppo. This one's with us.
Calderon shoulders his way past the Archnose, standing between us and blocking me from Oppo's beady eyes. I can't see Oppo's reaction, but I hear their reply come from Calderon's other side.
Yes, Captain, at once.
How much for the parts?
2,000 credits.
2,000.
Calderon leans in and says something to Oppo in a harsh whisper I don't understand. I realize after a moment that he's spoken another language entirely.
For you, Oppo will take 400. And Oppo's junkers will install the parts for you, free of charge.
Calderon leans back and crosses his arms over his chest, looking awfully pleased with himself.
You go to the club while you wait. Show your new friend our hospitality here in Las Vegas.
No chance. I'm staying with the ship.
Come on, party pooper. The ship's in good hands, isn't it, Ope?
Aya links an arm through mine before she looks up at the captain pleadingly through vivid violet eyes.
Yes. Oppo will take good care of it.
Calderon looks unconvinced, though he heaves a sigh despite his hesitation, and Aya gives him an excited clap on the back before she turns to me.
We are going to have so much fun.
The streets of Las Vegas are a minefield of neon lights, tiny shop fronts and stalls, and all manner of creatures roaming the city. It doesn't take us long to reach our destination, stopping outside a large, odd-shaped building with a fluorescent sign on the front reading The Ark. The bar we enter is crowded, overflowing with humans, Ketalfins, Arknos, and some species I've never seen before. The crowd in here is so diverse, so colorful and unique, that I can't help but let my eyes wander. A small group of Arknos hides away in a corner to the back, low hisses and chirps the only thing to be heard amongst their heated discussion. Waiters hurry through the crowd, dressed in tight, dark outfits. Most look human, with varying degrees of bionic alterations. Synthetic limbs, cybernetic enhancements, some of them even look more animal than human. A couple of Ketalfins stand out amongst the crowd, their gills shimmering brightly with some sort of pearlescent substance. I'm not sure I can see myself sporting glitter on my gills, but it's definitely a statement look. It doesn't take long to realize there are no Talari, and I wonder idly why that is. This feels like the kind of place someone would come to escape, to disappear in a crowd, lose yourself for a night, or even forever. I wonder if the crew feels the same, if there are things, places, people that they too would wish to escape. The Ark is most definitely a world of its own, and I wonder how deeply it would drag me down the rabbit hole if I let it. I'm not sure how to feel about it. It's a lot to take in. The lights, the crowds, the noise. But at the same time, this could be exactly what I need after spending the last few days cooped up on the ship. I wouldn't mind exploring a little to find out more about the place. My eyes dart to Aya, who adapts to the atmosphere like a fish to water, and I'm glad to see someone is happy here. Seeing the way her smile curls her lips, how her violet eyes light up beneath the strobing lights surrounding us, sparks something in me. In the end, I have to tear my eyes from her and smile quietly to myself. I know that if I stick with her, I'll have a lot of fun. More than a few eyes watch as we enter, sizing up the newest patrons of the club. Most seem to know the crew, and while some are friendly, offering greetings or simply the nod of their head, others are not so much. The crew doesn't seem to mind the odd unfriendly glare they receive, either ignoring it completely or in some cases giving it back just as rough.
Don't wander too far. It's safe enough in the club, but don't leave this place on your own.
Calderon gives me a hard look before he heads towards the bar, and I resist the urge to roll my eyes at him. Damon grins at me knowingly, nudging past me to join the captain.
We'll meet back here in a couple of hours.
Ayame flashes a smile, skipping towards a curtain near the back of the room. When she pushes it to the side, I get a glimpse of a stage so long it almost looks like a catwalk. A half a dozen pairs of eyes follow her as she disappears behind the curtain, and a small spark of jealousy hits me unexpectedly. June lets out a weary sigh from beside me before striding off to catch up to the pilot.
Don't get into too much trouble.
Bash grins, and I watch as he heads to a separate room off to the side of the building, Riona hot on his heels. I peek through the door a little before the curtain floats back to its place after them, catching a glimpse of felt-lined tables and plastic chips of differing colors. Deciding I'd like to learn more about the crew, and my future with it, I push my way through the crowd and find myself at the bar,